Hey mamas, you're listening to the Balanced Working Mama podcast, the only podcast teaching you how to balance your work, motherhood, and wellness. I am Dr. Amber Thornton, clinical psychologist and mama wellness consultant. Each week we dive into tips and strategies and much more so that you too can become a balanced working mama. Let's dive in. Hey mamas. Happy Sunday. Well, it's Sunday here on the day that I'm recording this. But happy whatever day you're listening to this. I hope you all are doing well. We have another episode of the Balanced Working Mama podcast. And something that is actually very much on my mind is that we only have this episode and one more episode left for season 3. So shout out to season 3 for being amazing, for coming and going as quickly as it did. I hope that you all enjoyed the season as much as I did. And I know that we also got a few new listeners this season as well. So hello to you all. Anybody who's new listening to the podcast this season, but also thank you for joining us and tuning in and really becoming a part of our Balanced Working Mama community. So let's check in a little bit. So, by the time you listen to this, it'll probably be about a week out. And so the thing that is on my mind is the fact that we have just had our first birthday at Balanced Working Mama. Yes, our first birthday. Balanced Working Mama is 1 year old. And to be honest, the birth date kind of passed quickly. I think what I'm trying to say is I wish that I would have been a little bit more intentional about really doing something for our birthday. But I talked about this on Instagram a little bit. We have had so much happen in this first quarter of 2021. We are wrapping up Empower Wellness Program for January. We are planning our very first retreat. I hired my VA this quarter. We're trying to do some corporate work with businesses and organizations to help their mamas. So there's been a ton going on this quarter. But then also I'm wrapping up life and preparing for baby number 2. So, Balanced Working Mama, our first year, unfortunately, we didn't have a big party or anything like that. But I really just wanted to take time to let you all know how special Balanced Working Mama has been for me. And that's essentially what we're going to talk about on this episode today. So, we are 1 year old. So in this episode today, you'll definitely hear me talk about how we've grown, what I've learned, where I hope Balanced Working Mama will go in the future. But either way, that's what's definitely on my mind today and what you hear more about on the podcast. But I guess let's check in before we get into all of that. So check in. The last few days for me have been kind of tough. And it's because daycare, childcare, y'all. Like, I think one of the things I have learned in my almost 2 years of being a mom, in this almost year of the pandemic, and my a little over a year of being an entrepreneur is that childcare is so important. And what it does, it allows women to have time to devote to work and to themselves and to whatever else is happening, right? Like, also for us, childcare is really important because it is a very valuable part of my child's educational experience. And so the last few days have been rocky because of weather, and that means childcare closures. Whew. This has honestly been my first go round with weather and childcare closures, and y'all, I didn't like it. I got frustrated. I got mad at the daycare, sent them an email that was really, because like my emotions are intense because I'm pregnant, but like also it was like, ugh. I just, I spoke about this before. Me and flexibility have some work to do. And so that was definitely an example of when my day abruptly changes or when my plans have to change suddenly, it's tough for me. And so that was what the last few days have been for me. And it was challenging, but we got through it. And so, I always know that when those things happen, I really do have to take a step back and reprioritize. Okay, well, what's most important in this moment? What are some things we can cross off of the list? I have learned that multitasking with like the business and being with my son doesn't work for me, because when I'm with my son, I want to be present for him, but he also wants that from me as well. And so it just leaves both of us being frustrated when I'm trying to multitask. And so reminding myself that no, we're not going to multitask. If there are things that are important that you want to get done, we're going to designate focused time for them specifically. So, just things like that that I've had to do, and really just give myself more grace and compassion these last few days, because um, things did not go as planned. And um, that's life sometimes. And so, that was definitely what my last week looks like. But here we are. We are at the start of a new week. I'm looking forward to seeing what the rest of February has in store for us, but then also going into March, right? And actually, by the time you all listen to this, it will be March. And so, either way, I'm still doing well, counting down the days till baby girl gets here. At this point, we've got about a month and a half. So there is that. Either way, I hope that y'all are well. I hope you enjoyed this episode of me celebrating Balanced Working Mama a little bit, but then also I'll be giving you all I'll be giving some shout outs to retreat sponsors in this episode as well. So either way, stay tuned, and I hope you're having a good day. Hey, Mama, I'm so glad you're listening to the podcast, but I also want to connect with you on social media. So be sure to follow me and Balanced Working Mama on Instagram. You can find me at Dr. Amber Thornton. That's DrAmberThornton, and Balanced Working Mama at Balanced Working Mama. BALANCEDWORKINGMAMA. Follow along, join in on the fun, but then also send me a DM to say hello. See you there. All right, Mama. So let's talk a little bit about the first year of Balanced Working Mama, right? Happy birthday, first of all, to Balanced Working Mama. I can't believe it's been a whole year. That's the thing. It's been a whole year. And it means so much of me to even be able to say this. Like, wow, I've been working on Balanced Working Mama for a year at this point. We have come so far from where we started. And so I really wanted to give that some attention and some shine and some love today, because I don't think we should underestimate the power and the value in the support and all the stuff that comes with Balanced Working Mama this year. So I will be talking about that today. And so I first want to start by just telling you how I actually mark this first year. And I guess when I think about Balanced Working Mama's actual birth date, it's a little fuzzy, because what happened was February, mid-February, around February 17th of 2020 is when I started to think about my identity as a mom and a wife, and someone who wanted to be an entrepreneur, someone who wanted to continue to prioritize my wellness and my needs and all that stuff as a mom, but then also wanting to help other people do it. And so that was the start of this thing called Balanced Working Mama. I still remember this day. I woke up, it was like a Saturday or Sunday morning, mid-February, and I told my husband, because I had been already working on personal development consultation. That was like the start of my entrepreneurship journey. And it hit me that morning. I was like, you know what? I want to focus this on moms. And I want to focus it specifically on working moms and moms of color and millennial moms, because I think what's happening is that many of us need more support. We need to feel more empowered. We need to feel more validated and when it comes to spending time on ourselves and our health and our wellness. We just need help balancing all the things. And my husband is always like, all right, that sounds good, whatever. And so I moved forward with that, and that is essentially the start of Balanced Working Mama. I remember that morning I shared an Instagram post, and it was like February 19th, I believe. And that was the very first time that I had put Balanced Working Mama outside of my brain, outside of the conversations between my husband and I, and into the interwebs, if you will, or into the space of other people who could consume it. So that is how I marked the occasion of that was the day that Balanced Working Mama came to be, because I shared it with people that day around February 19th of 2020. So from there, though, at that time, I had not much to offer other than just my desire to help other women who were mothers and wanted to better balance their work, motherhood, and wellness. So when we really first started, I'm trying to think, what was the first? Honestly, it was just me building content around this topic and sharing my experience of being a mom. That was all I was doing at the start of Balanced Working Mama, just talking about me being a mom, me working, me continuing to work out, things like that. But I would say the very first thing that I actually had to offer to other mothers was our wellness assessment. That is probably always going to be like my little baby, because that's the very first thing that I created for Balanced Working Mama that would, one, actually help people with tangible information and data about how they're balancing their life. But also it was the first thing that could actually build revenue for Balanced Working Mama, was our wellness assessment. And so funny thing is that wellness assessment has already had two, what do you call it? Two upgrades. That's not the word I'm thinking about. To updates, revisions, whatever. The wellness assessment we have now is not the one that I first created in February. And it's because it's evolved and I've added new categories and I've merged some. And that's, what you do when you grow. You take things, you create them, and then you change them and evolve them as you learn more information. So our 2.0 wellness assessment is really good right now. And mamas take it when they join the Empower Wellness program, but also I have a few mamas who elect to just take the elect to just take the wellness assessment. And if you're one of those mamas, you can definitely check on the website. There's information for the wellness assessment, how you can sign up and take one and have a consult with me to talk about your wellness and motherhood. Either way, though, that was the very first thing that we did. And then that kind of rolled into doing a few free check-ins. And then we had the Empower Wellness program that I created in the summer of 2020. So there's just so much that has happened over the year. And so to add some structure to this podcast episode, I wrote out some of the biggest growths or areas of change that have occurred for Balanced Working Mama over the last year. And I wanted to share those with you, and so that you could know a little bit more about who we are, what we're doing, how we've grown, and also how we hope to grow in the future. So I'm looking at my phone right now because I actually posted this on Instagram as well. So if anybody wants to see it on Instagram, you definitely can. I posted it there a few days ago. And here is our year in review. So the first thing that we have done in this past year as Balanced Working Mama is that we have completely redefined what balance looks like. And I am not taking that lightly. I'm not just lightly saying that. Like, we have completely redefined what balance looks like. And we have encouraged other working mothers to really fully embrace this new idea of balance. And we've done that by creating a balanced framework that we follow here on the podcast, that we follow in the Empower Wellness program, that will be brought up in the retreat, in about a week or so. Balanced is the thing, the constant theme that you see in Balanced Working Mama. In balanced, when we talk about it, doesn't mean you trying to show up and juggle everything equally. It actually is something completely different. And so if you still don't know what I mean when I say balanced, I encourage you to please go back to season 1, because every episode of that season talks about every core value of our balanced framework. And again, it's things like bold and firm boundaries, always prioritizing your wellness, living fully in all your identities, assertiveness and communicating your needs. I'm forgetting one. Oh no. Never being afraid of change, community and motherhood, effectively managing guilt and anxiety, and delegating and collaborating. That's what balance means to us. That is our balance framework. That is the foundation of Balanced Working Mama. And so with that, we have had so many mamas embrace that idea of balance and really learn that balance actually means this now. So I'm proud of that. Without that framework or that new frame of reference for balance, we really wouldn't have much to stand on. That is the important part of Balanced Working Mama. Like, if anything else, we have done that, and that is important. Second thing that we've done that has been really successful in this year is that we have pulled in 36 mamas to support and work closely with in the Empower Wellness Program. And so if you all don't know, the Empower Wellness Program is our quarterly 6-week wellness program. It is a group program. We bring 12 mamas every time to join us. We split them up into 2 groups. We meet with them weekly in a group, but then also every mama has a check-in with me every week. Something new that we added this season is that the mamas have accountability partners, which is awesome too. Every week they get to check in with a new mama to have more accountability and support. And so it's not just them checking in with me, they're checking in with each other too. And that has been such a bright spot in the Empower Wellness Program as we have evolved. And so 36 mamas in our first year participating in our Empower Wellness Program. My hope is that within the next year, we will have supported 48 more mamas. And so I am excited about the growth for the Empower Wellness Program. I would love to be able to pull in more than 12 mamas per quarter. And so that is something that we're working on in the future. How do we bring even more mamas in to participate in this program? Because it has been magical. Every mama that participates in this program feels better afterwards. They can communicate better about their needs. They feel more empowered to take control of their wellness. And I love to see it. So shout out to the Empower Wellness Program. The third thing that we have accomplished this year is not only having mamas work with us in our Empower Wellness Program, but also supporting mamas through the wellness assessment. And I know I talked about the wellness assessment earlier, but we every now and then will offer wellness assessments one-on-one. This past year, we've supported 14 mamas by giving them more understanding, more clarity, and more direction through the wellness assessment. So I would love to do more wellness assessments with more mamas in this coming year. But shout out to those mamas who have decided that they needed to take our wellness assessment to really figure out, where am I well? Where am I not well? To really talk to me about it and have a consult about it, but then also having a strategic plan for how they're going to walk away with that information and then implement it into their lives to improve their wellness. So shout out to you all. Something else we've done. We've done this podcast for 3 seasons. As I said earlier, we are wrapping up season 3, and it's just hard to believe that it's been 3 seasons already. So I'm excited to see what season 4 will bring us. I've already, because you all know how I am, I've already planned out most of season 4, partly because I will definitely be taking my maternity leave very seriously. And so I didn't want to be planning season 4 of the podcast as I'm having a baby. Season 4 of the podcast will start the first week of April. And then probably like a week later, I plan to have a baby. And so season 4 is planned out. You all will hear from me. You will hear from some other mamas and a few experts in the field related to mamahood and birth and all that stuff. So shout out to the podcast, because I think this has been a really big way to reach other mamas who may not be on social media, or who maybe are interested in hearing what we're doing, but not yet ready to participate in our Empower Wellness program or our retreat. So I love that y'all have tuned in and continue to support us and listen to us. Thank you. You guys remember I'm pregnant? I'm out of breath. I don't know if y'all can hear this, but like when I'm talking, I'm like, okay, gotta take a breath. So this is my breath break right now. There we go. I feel better. So another cool thing that we have done this year, which is again very special and dear to my heart, is that we have launched and in the process of preparing for our very first retreat. Like, wow. I've been talking about this retreat for months. And those of you who, again, listen to the podcast or check out my Instagram every now and then, y'all have heard me say, I want to one day do a retreat where we have mamas come and join us and we all commune together and we talk about all these things together. And we have an experience in which we really sit and focus on ourselves and our wellness and balance for a weekend. And then we go away, really going away with tools and a plan for how we will re-enter our families in a different way, a better way that will ensure that we have more balance and wellness. And so that has always been my plan. Of course, we're in a pandemic. And so our retreat could not be in person. But it hit me one day like, you know what? This pandemic has taught us that life cannot stop. Life has to continue, just in a different way. And so I felt empowered and encouraged to move forward with the virtual retreat. And that is what we're doing in March, y'all. First weekend of March, it is coming within like a few days. We will have our very first retreat. And I'm proud to say that we will be serving 16 mamas at that retreat. We have 4 additional collaborators. So it's not just going to be me, because there's a lot of other women who can contribute to our community and offer support and guidance and information. So 4 additional collaborators to help me help the mamas at the retreat. But then also we have had 14 businesses and organizations say that they believe in what we're doing and they want to support us. So, wow, shout out to our sponsors, which I'm going to talk about in a few minutes, but that part is super dope. So I appreciate that some of our sponsors have actually funded parts of our retreat. Some of our sponsors are donating products to the mamas so that the mamas can feel pampered and feel good. Some of the sponsors are giving away some things for some giveaways for the mamas at the retreat. So just so good. So good. I know that the retreat is going to be a really bright spot for us in March. Let's see. So we've also expanded our team. So you'll probably notice that when I talk about Balanced Working Mama, I rarely say I anymore, because it's not just me. I'm so happy about that, because doing the work of Balanced Working Mama is tough. And I realized early on that if I wanted Balanced Working Mama to grow, it could not just be me. I can't do this alone. And so I knew I wanted to grow my team. And so that initially started with me bringing on an intern, and then I hired her because she was amazing. And so shout out to Brandy. Y'all hear me talk about Brandy all the time. Brandy is now our assessment and support coordinator. She scores all of our wellness assessments and makes sure that they are all in like a nice template that's easy to read and easy to understand. She also helps us in our Empower Wellness program by leading some of our activities and our check-ins. So Brandy has been dope. Brandy also is in charge of our Balanced Working Mama Instagram page. So, yes, like expanding the team has been amazing. But then also in January of 2021, I hired on a VA, a virtual assistant. So shout out to Sydney. Sydney has been doing so much work for me, which has been so helpful. Sydney has been helping me with email newsletters, which if you're on the email, y'all hear from me pretty frequently now throughout the week. Sydney has been making sure that when I record these podcasts that they actually get uploaded and edited and all that. She's also doing some other research for me. Like, she has been so helpful. And again, there is no way that I can continue to grow and support Balanced Working Mama on my own. So having these two ladies here to support me and to support the other mamas, but also to fully believe in what we're doing has been so invaluable. So again, shout out to Sydney, shout out to Brandy. I appreciate y'all so much. Let's see what else we have done. Lastly, we have just like been collaborating and networking with so many other women and professionals who truly support us. Like, when I think about this last year, I would say I've made more friends than I have in a while. And it's because I met these people through our mutual interest and desire to support other women. And I'm looking forward to continuing to grow these relationships, network in these relationships, continue to build and collaborate in partnership with these women, because I firmly believe that we are better together as women. And when we can work together and support one another, life is always better. So shout out to all the women that I have met in this past year. I'm looking forward to really growing our friendships, working more together, collaborating more together, and just making dope stuff together. Y'all, like, for real, we could do this. Either way, again, shout out to Balanced Working Mama. It's been an amazing first year. I have so many goals and dreams and desires of where I want us to be in the coming year, the next 5 years, the next 10 years. And I am working hard to manifest all of that, but also working hard to ensure that I'm putting in the work now so that Balanced Working Mama will be where I want it to be. In the coming year, I am working very diligently to ensure that I can do more corporate work with companies and organizations to help them to improve conditions and policies for their working mothers. I am also really hoping to collaborate a lot more to help other people learn about Balanced Working Mama so that more mamas can learn about us, learn about how we think about balance, and join some of our programs. I would love to be able to not just invite 12 mamas per quarter, but to invite 24 mamas per quarter. I would love to have more Empower Wellness groups. And so that's something I'm hoping that will happen within the next year or two. But also, y'all know, I want to do this full time. And that's a more long-term goal. That I would say would happen in the next 5 years or so, but I'm so focused on it. I want that to happen. I want this to be a reality for me. I want to be able to have Balanced Working Mama touch thousands and millions of other mothers, because I know and believe that the work that we do is valuable. I know that millennial working mothers need help to redefine what motherhood looks like to them, because motherhood is not what it used to be, and that is okay. And so, with that being said, again, I want to say happy birthday, Balanced Working Mama. You have been so special to me, and I love you for it. So I hope y'all enjoyed this year in review. Thank you so much for supporting Balanced Working Mama. We could not have done this without you either. So again, shout out to Balanced Working Mama. Hey mama, I want to quickly tell you about the Empower Wellness program. This is a dynamic 6-week group for working mothers who are tired of feeling overwhelmed, fatigued, burdened by mom guilt, but then also just not having enough time for themselves. This program takes all of that and transforms it into more wellness, more time for yourself, better priorities, community with other mothers, but then overall balance in your work, motherhood, and wellness. To learn more about the Empower Wellness program, head over to balanceworkingmama.com. There you can find when the next program begins, what to expect, but then also how to sign up. Hope to see you in the next group. Hey mamas, before I let you go, I do want to take a moment to shout out some of our sponsors. And so I know that we typically do our Balanced Working Mama reflection during this time, but instead I want to share with you all some of these sponsors because I truly value their work. I believe in them. They are all fierce, fabulous women of color who are in business and out to support other women in business, especially working moms. And so I hope that you will check them out and consider whether some of their work might be valuable for you as well. So let's shout out some of these sponsors. So my first one I want to let you all know about is my good friend, Erica St. Bernard. She is a licensed clinical marriage and family therapist and also the founder of Your Life's Well. She does such good work, y'all, when it comes to working with millennial Black couples and Black women who really need some support in therapy and wellness. She loves this work. She also has recently written a book for married couples and partners called We Over Me. So she actually was on the podcast last week. So if y'all haven't checked her out, definitely listen to that episode and please purchase her book because I've been reading it. It's been very helpful for me and my husband and our relationship as well. So please check out Erica St. Bernard. You can find her on Instagram at Your Life's Well. Also, our second sponsor that I want to tell you about. Let me pull it up. I got a little lost. Our second sponsor is Play Pit. So I don't know if any of you all have heard of Play Pit, but Play Pit was founded by a mom who wanted more natural alternatives for her children when it came to deodorant. And so Play Pit has so graciously agreed to sponsor the Balanced Working Mama Retreat. And I really hope that you all check them out. If you haven't checked out their deodorant, you can definitely do that. You can find them at playpits.com and also on Instagram at playpits, a mother's safe and fun solution for getting rid of odor in children. So, I mean, we all need that. I definitely plan to start using it with C3 when he gets a little bit older. He's not ready for it just yet, but they've got tons of options for children and for moms and for dads too. So check them out. Our next sponsor that I want to shout out is Jasmine Chanel, founder of Mom to Mogul, you all. So Jasmine Chanel is so dope. And what I mean by that is her work has helped me as I have really tried to work on Balanced Working Mama and really improve the work that I'm doing. So Jasmine Chanel is the go-to when it comes to branding and building your business and thinking of yourself in terms of being a mom and an entrepreneur. She truly shows us that it is possible to start your business without overwhelm, without complicated tactics. She's doing it herself and she's helping other mamas too to support their businesses and start their businesses. So Jasmine Chanel has been so dope. I actually attended one of her workshops on content and branding, and it helped me a ton when it comes to planning and thinking about Balanced Working Mama. So shout out to Jasmine Chanel. Y'all can find her on Instagram at _Jasmine Chanel. And please, if you are a mompreneur, check out her program, Mom to Mogul. Okay, we got a few more. Next, the G Michelle. Well, that's her Instagram, the G Michelle. Her name is Michelle, and she is the founder of G Michelle Self-Care Resources. And so Michelle is just so dope and passionate about women and helpers and helping them to truly engage in their self-care. She has tons of resources to help encourage hardworking, caring helpers to make self-care a part of their lives and to compassionately address their self-care. And y'all know this is important because those of us who are helpers, we don't focus on self-care enough. So please check out Michelle. Instagram is Instagram is the G Michelle, and check out her resources and give her a shout out as well. Okay. Next, we have the Lotus Legacy. So shout out to Tiffany. You can find her on Instagram at the Lotus Legacy. And I love what Tiffany does because it's something that I don't see often. What Tiffany does is she empowers women of color with resources, strategies, and tools for financial stability and freedom. Whew, that is a mouthful because it's so important. So she truly believes in financial freedom and stability for women of color, communities of color. And she's really hoping to work with more moms to help them to better manage finances, but then also realize and find financial freedom that they have been wanting. So you can check her out on Instagram at The Lotus Legacy. Okay, we got two more. Two more. I'm sorry, we have one more. Last one, Birth Stories in Color. So, you all, Birth Stories in Color is a podcast that I recently found, and I honestly wish that I would have found them sooner. So, Birth Stories of Color is a podcast founded by Black women and for women of color who share their birth experiences. I know that when I was pregnant with C3, I wanted to hear more birth stories, but it was hard for me to find a podcast or stories that came specifically from women of color. This is what Birth Stories in Color is. And so luckily I found them during my second pregnancy, and I've been listening, and I really, really, really love what they do. So, through storytelling, helping others who are preparing for pregnancy, birth, and postpartum with these stories. So, please check out their podcast. Again, it's called Birth Stories in Color. They're also on Instagram at Birth Stories in Color. Thank you so much to them for supporting our retreat. And shout out to all of our sponsors. So please, please check out all of them. I will make sure that their information is in the show notes, but I am so appreciative of all the support that they have been giving for the retreat, and I am so happy that they have decided to help us out. So, you all, I hope you enjoyed today's episode with our year in review, and I hope that you will check out these sponsors, and we'll talk to you all soon. Hey, Mama. Thank you for listening to the Balanced Working Mama podcast. If you love this podcast, please be sure to rate it and share it with another mama that you know. And don't forget to follow me and Balanced Working Mama on Instagram. I'll talk to you soon.